Well. If it isn't Higurashi Sotsu, the fourth installment in the Higurashi series following Higurashi Go, and Go had some of the best horror and thriller elements that I've seen to date in anime. That being said, I'm not here to talk about Go as I already have, and if you don't know what happened or haven't watched my video on it, then go check it out because I will be discussing things that happened. And I haven't done a second video for any series yet, so congratulations Higurashi on being the first, I suppose. Enough said, let's get into it. Once again, I didn't watch the first two seasons of Higurashi as I didn't want it to influence my opinion on Sotsu and just kinda wanted to talk about it as a newcomer. And I was really looking forward to what Passion could do with what Go had already done, and I would be lying if I said that Sotsu was a satisfying sequel and end to the series. As we start off back where Go started, except now we are shown the exact same things that happened, but from someone else's perspective. That other person's perspective being the person suffering with Hinamizawa syndrome, and we basically follow them with how they go about dealing with Hinamizawa syndrome. And for an episode or two I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool, and they could probably cover all the arcs we have already seen in about 5 or 6 episodes. No. This went on for 13 out of the 15 episodes in Sotsu, and pretty much half of each episode was copy and pasted scenes from Go, with little to no change. Now I'm not saying that it was all bad, because some of the new scenes were actually really cool, and seeing side stories that involved the people with Hinamizawa syndrome that we never knew about added some more depth to those characters, like Reina's dad and the hooker that was basically taking all his money. Also witnessing the fact that each person is affected very differently from one another while suffering with Hinamizawa syndrome. And even though they have good intentions, they take it way too far, like Mion locking Keiichi up and killing everyone who gets in her way, and Detective Oishi wanting to uncover the truth of Hinamizawa syndrome, and killing people to find the truth. I mean, that's cool and all, but why couldn't they have extended Go and just showed us those parts as they happened, instead of making us rewatch stuff and then adding them? I would have had no problem at all if Go was 39 episodes or something and each arc was explored more, and this is the problem that I found myself thinking after every episode of Sotsu I watched, and it was that it just doesn't feel necessary. And yes, I understand with the big reveal at the end of Go being that, spoiler alert, Satoko was also a time looper and she controlled who got Hinamizawa syndrome each time. There was an opportunity there to show Satoko infecting people, but we knew that now, so we didn't really have to see it. Before we go any further, let me just say I did enjoy quite a lot of Sotsu, and I'm just getting the things that I don't really like out of the way. Which takes me to my next point. The character development. Apart from Rika and Satoko, next to no character development for those characters we already knew about, especially Keiichi. Man really started out as the main protagonist, and now when he shows up, you're just kind of reminded that he's in the show. Even after watching Go, I really wanted Keiichi's character to be explored more, as it shows us snippets of him remembering the previous loops where he killed Satoko's uncle and all sorts of other things, but they just kind of dropped that whole plot point. But I will admit, Satoko became a really well thought and deep character with a whole load of character development, as she is the, spoiler alert, main antagonist of the whole series, which was revealed at the end of Go. Rika was more of the same. We basically knew all about her during Go, but while she was in the spirit realm, I guess I could call it, we learned a bit more. Apart from them, Reina, Mion and Satoko's uncle Teppei were explored quite a bit more, especially Teppei, where he turned out to be quite the good guy, which I was pretty happy to see, but apparently Satoko wasn't. The animation is still quite good for showing off the gore that the show has to offer, but Funimation thought it was a bit too good and decided to blur it, in the form of a huge black oval just covering half the screen. And that's pretty cringe if you ask me. But it's good to see that Passion kept up the high standard that Go had too, which was quite nice, because I was worried it would look a little rough after the small break in between seasons. And also from Passion, Miyaruko-chan came out. I'll talk about that another time. Almost definitely. And in the last 2 episodes of Sotsu, Satoko and Rika just had a full-on fistfight while going through each loop, and while it made sense in context with the story, I couldn't help but feel it was a little silly. I mean, they even started flying around at one point, and although it was enjoyable, didn't really suit the tone that Go had given us to begin with. Also, spoiler again, the whole reason for Satoko killing Rika and her friends over and over is because she didn't want to study, and if she didn't study then she couldn't be with Rika. Bruh. But yeah, I'm no Higurashi expert. I mean, I still haven't watched the original 2 seasons. I'm just giving my thoughts after watching Go and Sotsu, and all in all, I enjoyed what they had to offer. It's not perfect, but what is? So yeah, even with its many flaws, it's still worth watching. And if you don't agree with something that I said or I was completely wrong about anything, feel free to comment, and I'll probably still have no idea what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching, subscribe, like the video if you want to help the algorithm, I suppose, and comment, because I like reading comments, even though I said that before. Yeah, thanks for watching. Neneshi out.